Hello from Atlanta and Mercedes-Benz Stadium, and I'm afraid to say it again, but it happened again. Another one slips out of the hands of the Browns, who now drop to 2-2 after they dropped this one on this Sunday afternoon to the Atlanta Falcons by a final score of 23-20. The hard lesson that again has to be learned by the Browns team is that when you have opportunities, you have to cash in and score. If you have an opportunity to put a team away, you have to be able to do that. And in a tight game, you must make plays that are going to win the game instead of losing the game. Early in the ball game, the opening drive of the game, the Browns go right down the field. They get inside the 5-yard line. Nick Chubb takes a negative play on third down and about a yard and a half, gets dropped back to the 4, and instead of kicking a chip shot field goal and taking a 3-0 lead, the Browns instead, they go for it, and the play blows up, and they come away with nothing on the scoreboard. Missed opportunity. Once again, the Browns, in the first half, moving the football. David Younghoe Koo fumbles the football. Atlanta captures the football. They go in and score and take the lead. So the Browns are constantly playing from behind in the first half, but they level the game at 10-10 at the end of the first half of play. Second half, Nick Chubb gives them a thrilling 28-yard run, and they take the lead. But again, that problem of giving up big plays, it haunted them one more time. Now, I realize defensively they were without Myles Garrett. They were without Taven Bryant. They were without Jadeveon Clowney. And it seems as though the defense all of a sudden got worn out in the second half. Arthur Smith, the head coach of the Falcons, very smartly kept bringing in fresh running backs. And they attacked the Browns not through the air, but on the ground, and went right down the field again to recapture the lead. The Browns, in a tie game, though, in a 2020 ball game, had another opportunity to mount a drive to give themselves the lead. Now, remember, they have a great kicker in Cade York, but Jacoby Brissett missed Harrison Bryant on an open play on a third down pass in Atlanta territory, and instead, the Browns had to punt the ball back to Atlanta. And then that eerie problem of giving up a huge pass play, once again it happened. Imagine, Marcus Mariota only completed 7 passes in the game, and he's a winner at the end of this day, but on a crazy play scramble, all of a sudden he found the wide receiver, Olamide Zaccheaus, open down the field. He caught it for 42 yards. Denzel Ward made it even worse by grabbing his face mark. Then that made it a 15-yard penalty after that. Atlanta then kicked the field goal. On the final drive of the game for the Browns, they're in pretty good shape with about a minute 23 left, and they're in Atlanta territory again with a good field goal kicker, and then it just blew apart. A screen pass set up. Ends up seeing that Joel Bitonio went down the field. Of course he did, because Brissett kept pumping, and the offensive linemen, they released down the field. The screen pass game for the Browns, which has been really good through the first 4 games, was just nowhere in this game. Atlanta blew it up, and all of a sudden Cleveland kept going back. He sacked on the next down, and then he throws an interception. Ball game over. Statistically, you'll look at the stat sheet, and the Browns dominate time of possession, rushing yards, passing yards, but they lose the game by a score of 23-20. It's the old problem again of learning how to win and knowing how to win a game, knowing how to put a team away when it looks like you've got an advantage. And a number of times it looked like the Browns had an advantage on this Sunday afternoon. But instead, they come home at 2-2, and they head into the gauntlet of their schedule. Next week, the high-scoring L.A. Chargers come to town. The Patriots, the Ravens, the Bengals, they're all on their way too. And the Browns are at 500 when they easily could have been 3-1. And you know something? They could have easily been 4-0. This is a tough one to swallow. The Browns lose to Atlanta by a score of 23-20 to drop to 2-2 on the season. From Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta, I'm Jim Donovan for WKYC.com.